I think all our society is run by insane people for insane objectives. And I think that's what I sussed when I was 16 and 12, way down the line. But I expressed it differently all through my life. It's the same thing I'm expressing all the time. But now I can put it into that sentence that I think we're being run by maniacs for maniacal ends, you know. If anybody can put on paper what our government and the American government, etc., and the Russian, Chinese, what they are actually trying to do, you know, and what they think they're doing, I'd be very pleased to know what they think they're doing. I think they're all insane. You know, but I'm liable to be put away as insane for expressing that. You know, that's what's insane about it.
So that's the legend, John Lennon. He got clipped.
I think all our society is run by insane people.
He says society is ran by insane people, maniacs and shit like that. It's the interview that got him clipped. John Lennon from the Beatles, right? We know a lot of the rich billionaires in the higher echelon of society. We know they pedophiles, rapists, cannibals, sex traffickers, Satan worshippers, cannibals. We know they indulge in dark deeds and evil activities. Sometimes it feels good when the celebs say it, though, because people will take the celebs' advice, opinion, and view more because they got the bag and they famous and they have the influence. Then when somebody like me is talking and they be like, oh, Iron's bugging, oh, he's a hater. Yeah. It's quiet. So y'all already know the cat is out the bag, man. Y'all gotta just not fall into the web of these satanic entities and these satanic cultures and rituals, people. Y'all gotta stay clear, man. Move militant and diligent. Rest in peace, John Lennon. Check this last one out.
Let's keep switching the identity to hide the people. Why don't we just keep renaming you? Are you Negro? Oh, no, you're not Negro. No, you're colored. No, you're not colored. You're African American. And this is what they name you. The slavers name you this. Because I know a white guy who grew up in South Africa. And he now lives in America. He is an African American, and more African American than most. Do you see how African American is a misnomer? It's a misnomer. Don't check that box. It's a title given to blacks by democratic slavers.
It's a name given to blacks by democratic slavers. That's why when I fill out applications and they ask me my ethnicity, right? I'm indigenous. I'm black indigenous. Or I'll put I'm a native black indigenous. I don't put African American. I don't put regular black. I put other. Then I put native black indigenous. Being a descendant of the Gullah Geechee and the Seminole Alliance, which was in the 1700s, that would make me indigenous and a native. I remember one time, a few times, Africans would meet me that's Muslim, or Arabs would meet me that's Muslim. They hear me speak Arabic. Yo, Akhay, where you from, Akhay? Oh, I'm right here. I'm black indigenous, native indigenous. Oh, you African American? No, I'm not African American. But you born here in America. Bro, if two Earthlings have a baby on Mars, is the baby a Martian or an Earthling? If two Africans have a baby in China, you think China's gonna say that baby's a Chinese? No, it's an African. I'm black indigenous. I'm born here. I'm a black indigenous. My lineage is here. We're not from Africa. And then we know about the Cyprius Africanus and Americus Vespucci. We know about all the names and the words, man. We ain't going off that. We going by bloodline. We going by lineage. People, y'all gotta research, y'all gotta study, and not let anybody name y'all what they want to name y'all. Then you got people that say, oh, black is a color. I like the word black because the universe is black. Black is melanated. Melanin is highly carbonated. The ether realms is black. Study the ether realms. So when you look into space, they have y'all looking at the stars, like the stars is the most important part. No, the most important part of space is the blackness. The stars live within the blackness. The blackness don't live within the stars. The stars is nothing. That's little planets and asteroids and moons and little shit like that. The blackness, those ether realms, that's living organisms right there watching you. Earth is nothing. Earth lives within darkness, surrounded by the ether realms. Yeah, I gotta study the 9 ether realms. The 9 universes. It's another movie. We ain't gonna get into that right now. Your brain will dilapidate. Your skull cavity will implode. We ain't gonna even talk that right now. Let's see what this lady has to say.
And enslaved to people, branded, castrated, lynched, burned, and tortured them. You called them 3/5 of a man, subspecies, an ape, a monkey, and a general inferior creation. How can we then admit that they are our teachers and the ones who gave us civilization? How can we admit that we descended from Greece and from Rome, and that Greece and Rome stole everything they knew from Egypt? How to admit that? There's no room in a white supremacist psyche for black contributions to civilization or world progress. This reaches too far into the consciousness of the so-called objective white scholars of academia and their black-skinned counterparts. This is like asking a Nazi to accept the Jewish origins of Nazism and of Hitler, if that were the case. They couldn't accept it if it were true any more than the white supremacists can accept the African origins of civilization, the African origins of Christianity, the African origins of science, the African origins of everything. Philosophy originated in Egypt. Math originated in Egypt. Theology originated in Egypt. Philosophy originated in Egypt. Letters originated in Egypt. Everything started there. They were as ancient to the Romans as the Romans now are to us. And that's what we don't really understand because we live now. We don't really understand that the pyramids are fought and enslaved people, branded, castrated.
Her intentions was sincere. She had great intentions. And most of what she said was right. We're their teachers. We taught them how to shower. We taught them about hygiene. We taught them how to read. We taught them about math. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we did all of that. What we doing now? People don't get caught up in the past. Yeah, it's good to know your legacy, know where you came from, know the contributions your people contributed it to the chronological order of life and existence. But what are we doing now? Because the things you do now dictates the results of tomorrow, right? So she was right most of the way. What she was wrong at when she kept saying Egypt. Ethiopia is the birthplace of civilization. Ethiopia is the mother of Egypt. Sudan is older than Egypt, and Ethiopia is older than Egypt. Sudan, the land of blackness, darkness, and Sudan has way more pyramids than Egypt. But Sudan and Ethiopia is older than Egypt. Kemet, whatever y'all want to call it. And if y'all don't want to call Ethiopia, we can call it Abyssinia. We can call it whatever you want to call it. But y'all know what I'm trying to say. The Ethiopians used to rule Egypt. The Sudanese used to rule Egypt. They used to rule Lower Egypt. Lower Egypt is actually on the other side by the water, and Upper Egypt is closer to Sudan. Or it might be vice versa in regards to Sudan ruling. They probably ruled North Egypt, which is inward in the land, and South Egypt is closer to the water. But Sudan and Ethiopia has over the civilizations than Egypt. And yes, they taught the Europeans how to shower. They taught the Caucasus people how to read, how to do a lot of things. These people took what we taught them, evolved it, weaponized it, and then conquered us. I don't want to hear all day how black people was gods, kings, rulers, and how great we was. It's about how great we are, and how great we is, and how great we gonna be. So we focused on the now, people. Gotta focus on the now. The labor of today brings the fruits of tomorrow. Black Adam 2 dropping soon, and the Emerald Tablets album dropping soon. A lot of people dropped albums this fourth quarter, so I decided I'm not going to drop neither album. I'm just going to drop a fire song or two. We're going to carry it over, and then once the ball drop, I'll start dumping. But for the remainder of this year, I'm going to lock back in the studio and knock out 2 more albums. So I'll be sitting on 4 or 5 albums for next year. The gods don't mingle with the mortals. Kings don't eat with the peasants. The only time wise men hang around fools is when they educate them or enslaving them. Ambition is the transition. Movement is medicine. Stay diligent and militant. Peace is priceless. Serenity is sovereignty. I am oxygen. Uno, we'll get up like sit-ups. I holler back on my collar crack.